Hello, welcome back to Simple or Difficult. In this video, we are going to be creating this scene, okay? We're going to be creating it using 3ds Max and Corona Renderer. We're going to be doing the modeling here inside 3ds Max. We're going to be populating this scene with assets. I will show you where I get my assets, and all the assets that are going to be used in this video, the links are going to be in the description. Okay, after that, we're going to work with lights. We're going to work with materials. I will show you how to adjust materials and how to create new ones. Okay, you don't always have to create new materials all the time. You create it when you need to, and I will show you how to do that, when to and when not to create new materials. Okay, so at the end, I'm going to show you, the render setups and how to save out. Okay, so this video is actually very beginner friendly. If you haven't opened 3ds Max before, or you have opened it before and you struggled with it, this video is definitely for you. So without any further ado, let's just jump into this video. So to get started, import the file we are going to use to model the scene. But before we get into importing the AutoCAD file for modeling, I want us to customize our modeling units. I shall set mine to millimeter. I suggest you do the same, as I shall not be converting to any other units as I model in this video. So this is how you set it. Okay, then click on the system unit setup. You see millimeter there. Now you can come out of there. Now let's import the file that we're going to use. And we shall start by importing the floor plan. Go to File, click on File. Okay, you see Import, select Import, and then go over to where you saved the AutoCAD file that you downloaded from the description. Select the floor plan and then hit Open. Hit OK. Now you've successfully imported the AutoCAD file into the scene. Now when you select this thing, you find out that they are in parts. All right, so we're going to attach them together as one drawing, as one element, using the Attach tool. Okay, so how do we do that? Select any of the parts you want, go over to the Modify tab, scroll down. Okay, scroll down till you find the Attach tool, click on it. Now you can click on the other parts of this drawing that we just imported. Okay, now I want you to realize something. When you hover around this thing, you find out that they turn yellow. Okay, whereas when you hover around the ones that you've already attached, they are unresponsive. So you use that to know the ones you have attached and the ones you have not attached. So I keep hovering around. When anyone turns yellow, you click on it, and just like that, you will just finish attaching all the different parts into one singular element. Okay, let me just quickly do the rest, the ones I've not done. Okay, I think all the ones here are done. Right, so let's go ahead and import the section. Okay, inside that same folder you downloaded, there is a section inside there, so select it and then hit Open. The same thing we did the first time, and it is here. Okay, now I'm going to select everything and then deselect the floor plan so I can move the section out of the way. It came in parts, so we are going to attach it just like we attached the floor plan. So go down till you find Attach, select it, and then attach the other different parts together into a single spline. All right, we have done that. Now it is easier to work on orthographic mode, so I'm going to switch this perspective to orthographic mode. And also I will get rid of the grid by hitting G on my keyboard. Now this is a section, not a plan. It is not supposed to be lying down the way it is. So select the rotation tool. Ensure you turn on angle snap toggle. This enables you easily get the desired angle, as the snap to angles are set by you in the settings. Also rotate it this way, 90 degrees. Okay. Now with the spline selected, select the move tool and move it into position. To be able to do this easily, you need snap toggle to be active. Right click on it to bring out the settings. Ensure that what I've checked on here is what you have checked too. Uncheck any other option. All right. Now with this snap toggle, move the spline into position just like I'm doing. Now we are done importing and setting up this AutoCAD file. It's time for us to start modeling proper. Select box from the standard primitives. Create the box just like I have created it. Note that my snap toggle is still active. Adjust the parameter of the box, the length, the width to 225, then the height on the other hand should be set to 600 as that is the seal height, okay? If I bring it there now, you're gonna see that it's going to flush with the seal, as you can see. Now, because the length and width is set to 225, it will fit into this corner, okay? With the box selected, right click and convert it to editable poly. Hit 4 on your keyboard or just select the polygon over here in this modify tab. Select this face, holding down the shift button, drag the polygon towards the y-axis. Snap to the beginning of the window opening, then to the end of the window opening, okay? You can still do this on the plan view, as you can see. Now let me show you where we are doing this part by part, the way we are doing it. Hit F4 on your keyboard. You'll see the edges we are creating. For context, the edges are the lines you can see here. Okay, these edges come in handy when it comes to further editing of the poly. Okay, but specifically the reason we have it here is to help us create wall opening. Okay, moving on. Select this poly. Because there are no breaks or opening, I will take it all the way to the wall. As we normally do, create edges for the two walls. Alright? Now that we understand the process, go ahead and trace out the plan using this poly. Make sure you create all the necessary edges as you go. Now we've gotten to the end. Switch to vertex. We have to weld these vertices to clean up the cluster of vertices there. Now to do this, select the vertices that you want to weld. In the modify tab, you will see weld right next to extrude. Just click on it and it is done. Now that we have successfully traced the plan, the next thing we are going to do is to successfully trace the section. So let's go. Select all the top polys. To do this with ease, check on by angle in the modify tab. Leave the 45 as it is. Now all you have to do is click once at any of the polys up here and all the top polys will be selected. Now for the next step, get into the appropriate view, as this will help make the snapping easier. Okay, holding down the shift button just as we did when we are tracing the plan, snap to the top of the window opening. Ensure your snap toggle is active. Also snap to the top of the ceiling. You can upbeat to see your progress. Yes, you did that. All right, you did that. This is all you. Now, if this video has been helpful so far, do consider to hit the like button. Okay, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Turn on notifications so you get notified every single time I drop valuable content like this. And that is once or twice a week, depending on what I am working on. Okay. All right, let's continue, shall we? Next thing we are going to do is create openings on these walls for our window. Okay. To do that, select the polygon. Select just the window polygon, the place that the opening is supposed to be, as you can see. Why is this happening? This is happening because of the by angle option we checked when we want to select all the top polygons for the wall. Now, when you uncheck this, you can select only the poly at the window opening. Now, to create the opening for our window, switch to the move tool, hold down shift, and then push, in this case, in the x-axis, okay, to cut the window opening through the wall. Let me undo that real quick. Another way you can do this same thing, okay, is select both sides of the window poly. In the modify tab, click on bridge. As you can see, the window opening is there. There is supposed to be a door here, but because our camera won't capture that part of the room, we are not going to put it. Now the next thing we are going to do is create the floor and the ceiling. With the help of Swift Loop, we shall create the floor. Swift Loop is one of the graphite modeling tools in 3ds Max, and you can find it by dropping this down. Okay, select it when you find it. Now, depending on where you are and how you have positioned your cursor, that will determine if your loop will be vertical or horizontal. So position your cursor the way I have positioned mine to get a similar loop as mine. When you get it, click once to create the loop. Now when you create the loop, it becomes part of the editable poly. To be able to use it as a floor, we need to have it separated from the poly, and the easiest way to do that is this. With the loop still selected, or if by mistake you deselected yours, make sure, if you want to select it back, make sure you are in the edge subobject. Okay, you come over here in the modify tab, the second one, or you can just hit 2 on your keyboard. That will put you in the edge subobject mode. Now double click on one of the loop segment. Okay, hopefully that is going to select all of them for you. If it doesn't do that, just simply hold down the control button on your keyboard and select them one by one. Now with all the loop that we just created, with all of them selected, on the modify tab, scroll down to create shape from selection. Okay, click on it, set the shape type to linear, then hit OK. Now turn off the swift loop. Okay, switch to wireframe mode. We need to select the shape we just created and then move it into position. Now isolate it and then duplicate it. Duplicate the shape, take it down a bit. Okay, for the shape under, apply extrude modifier to it. Set the amount to 20. Now for the shape on top, apply the floor generator to it. Floor generator is a third-party modifier from CG Source. I'll put a link in the description. It has a free version as well as a paid version. But as far as this course goes, if you have the free version, you are good to go. So download it, install it, and let's go. Just in case you don't know how to install it, I'll just attach a video I have created in the past explaining how to download and install Floor Generator in the top right hand corner of the screen. Okay, do well to check it out. Moving on. Now let's set up the Floor Generator. The max length, we are going to set it to 1200 millimeters. The max width, I will set that one to 120 millimeters. For the extrude, go ahead and add 8 millimeter in there. Okay, the bevel is going to be 2 millimeters, making everything 10 millimeters. I'm going to leave the grout length the way it is. Now raise up the first shape we extruded to meet the one we applied Floor Generator on. The reason we did this is so that the light won't seep in through the grout opening in the floorboard as we have created it with Floor Generator, okay? And so this extruded shape covers up those openings that is created by the grout opening. But before that, you'd notice that the gizmo of this shape is not at the center of the shape where normally it is meant to be. Now to bring it to the center, click on the hierarchy tab, click on affect pivot only, then click on center to object. Now come out of there so we can move the extrude shape into position. You don't have to be very accurate with it. Okay, but then let it cover the underneath so the light doesn't seep in. Alright, so that's it for the floor. Now we'll move over to creating the ceiling. To create the ceiling, select the extruded shape and duplicate it. Okay, duplicate it again as a copy. We shall edit the spline a bit. Okay, select the vertices and adjust the position after turning off the extrude modifier. When you are done adjusting the position, turn the modifier back on. For the extruded shape underneath, we are going to create shadow lines for the ceiling curtains. Alright, so with a box, get 200 by 200 millimeter dimensions. The height doesn't matter, okay? This box will serve as a measuring tool to be able to create our shadow line. Now the next thing we're going to do is to select the extruded shape, the one underneath. Okay, turn off the extrude modifier and then select the vertices and move them back using the box as a guide. Turn the extrude modifier back on when you are done. Now select the box and delete it. Select the extrude shapes, which is now our ceiling and our floor slab above the ceiling, and then move them into position, as you can see me doing. Okay, select the shape underneath. Okay, set the extrude amount to 150. That is for the ceiling. We are almost done with modeling. Next thing we are going to do is create a vent right here on this floor. To do this, select the floorboards and the wall and hide them, or just select the extruded shape there and isolate it. Okay. Select the plane tool and create a plane as I'm creating it now. Adjust the parameter. The length should be 4,000 millimeters. That's 4 meters. With the use of a box, we shall get an offset of 200 millimeters from the wall. Now we're back to the plane. We're going to add a parameter again, the second parameter, which is the width. And for that, we're going to add 250 millimeters. Increase the width segment to 9. Convert the plane to editable poly. Select the segment, the length segment, and move it up. Okay, select this other segment and move it down. Select the external edges and create a shape from it. Make sure it is in linear and then click OK. Select the initial shape, the one that we have a floor generator, modifier on, and then attach this new spline to it. Okay, you have to turn off the floor generator and then attach the new spline to it. Then turn the floor generator back on. Now what that does for you is that it creates an opening, in the place where this new shape that we attached is. Okay, so when you look at the floor generator now, you're going to see an opening there. Now when I change the view to default shading and I zoom in, you will find out that the vent cover is still flat and the grill is still closed. Let's do something about that, shall we? So select it and isolate it. Then select the same edges that I selected. Okay. Let me return it to the default shading. In the Modify tab, under Edit Edges, you will see chamfer. Click on the chamfer settings. Then check on this box, then take the slider up to widen the gap. Now for us all to be in the same page, type in 7 in there and hit OK. Alright. Select the plane that we have just cut an opening in and then add a shell modifier to it to add thickness to it. Now we have the outer amount and the inner amount when it comes to adding thickness to this. So I'm going to select the floorboards and the vent to see the side to add this thickness to, because I want the vent to flush with the floorboard. On the outer amount, add 10 millimeters. That will flush it with the floorboards.
With the vent selected, I will apply a chamfer modifier to it. Go down to smoothing output, change it from smooth entire object to smooth chamfers only. Turn on edges by hitting F4 on your keyboard to see exactly what's going on here. Now let's go back so we can make some adjustments. Add one more segment to this. Set the amount to 1.5 millimeters. Bring all the geometries back by clicking this button. We have to add chamfer modifier to the entire model as it promotes realism, because in reality, objects do not have perfectly squared out edges. So we copy the chamfer modifiers we already set for the vent and paste it on everything. Okay, the walls, the ceiling, everything. So we are done with the modeling. It is time to start loading in models and assets.
For the purpose of this, I've already prepared all the models I want to use. As you can see, they're all here. So I'm going to select all of them like this, then use copy tool and copy them. Alright, so I'm going to attach the link to all the models that I'm using in the description. So if you want to use exactly the models I'm using, okay, you can go ahead, so you can find them and use them. All right, so these are all the I have a carpet here, I have the sofa, I have the coffee table, the decorative elements I'm going to put on top of the coffee table. That's the dining table, the decorative element on top of the dining table. Then the, what is it called again, the pendant light or chandelier or whatever you want to call it, that's going to be on top of the dining. Then we have the kitchen. There's a kitchenette. Okay, the kitchen joinery, the splash bag, everything is here. Then the artwork. So that's basically it. So I'm just gonna come over here and then paste it. Okay, copy tool is a script that you use to copy models between scenes. Okay, it is like merging models into a scene, but now you don't have to like bring the models in one by one if you already have them into the scene, or bring the entire scene into another scene. You can just copy what you want from that scene and then paste it. So I'm just going to move these things into place. Okay, it's not a big deal, it's just to like move things around. Okay, I will turn on my snap toggle. In fact, I'm going to select this wall and I select it. I want to make my life easier. And then just like that. I'll just hide this floor generator so that I can easily place the things I want to place where I want to place them. All right, so I'm done placing this. I am going to place the spotlights when I am done placing the camera, but for now the assets are in place for now where they are supposed to be. So the next thing I want to do is to go ahead and put the camera. I'm going to select the camera and I'm going to create it like so. Okay, just draw it diagonally like this. So let's set up the camera. I'm gonna hit C on the keyboard to switch this view into the camera view. Then I'm gonna come over here, change this thing to focal length, and I'm going to change this to 30. Make this 900. The same for this as well, 900. Okay. Now I want to set my aspect ratio and I want to set it to, let's see how HDTV looks like. And then I'm going to hit Shift F on the keyboard, Shift F to show what I'm dealing with. I'm going to select this camera. And I'm going to turn off the target. Then move this camera back. Now while moving it back, you notice that I will get into the wall, and for that reason I will no longer be seeing what is going on in the space. So to solve this issue, we are going to use the environment and clipping, okay, in the settings here. So I'm going to come over here and enable it, add 2 zeros in the far to make it very far. Okay, for the near I'm going to make it 2000. All right, now I can go back. Let me see if I can still go forward with the near a little bit. That's as far as I can go. All right, so yeah, I'm going to turn on the target and then move it a little bit less. So okay, so at the end of the day I'm going to change this to custom. Okay, and this custom is when you put this into 4, you'll find that it's 4:5. So you can go ahead and set your aspect ratio like that. Select the target and move it up a little bit. But when I do that, you find out that the entire camera, becomes skewed. So I'll just select that camera, go to tilt and shift, turn on automatic vertical tilt. Automatic vertical tilt. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. We are done with the cameras and with the assets. So the next thing I want us to do now is to work on our lights. And to be able to do this, I want to start by, placing environment light. I will just hit it on the keyboard, select this, and then come down here go over to Corona, select Corona Sky, hit OK. Okay, but I want to start with material override first so that we can focus on creating, because all these things here, they already have materials, because where we downloaded it from, they already applied materials to them. Now, when we talk about materials, it is important for you to understand that you really do not have to start creating every material from the scratch. Okay, if you have the time, that's fine, but usually from experience, I'm always trying to meet up with deadlines. Okay, the faster I can do the job, the better. So when you look at the materials that the model you downloaded from 3D Sky came with, and you just put it to try and it works well, you can actually use it. You might have to make some adjustments here and there to be able to, like, get it to be perfect for your scene. Other than that, I don't think you have to remove everything and then start creating the materials from the scratch. Okay, I don't do that. Most of the time, I don't do that. But there are sometimes I have to create materials from the scratch, like we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to be doing that for the floor. Okay, we're going to be creating the floor materials from the scratch. And also, maybe we'll do something like that for the walls as well and the ceiling. If not, we're just going to use the default materials that come with Corona to do that. Well, what I'm just trying to let you know is that it's okay to use the materials that came with it. So that's why we're going to be switching to material override, so we can just focus on the lighting that we want to work on. But then when I do this, it is going to override every material, but there are some materials I like to preserve, and those materials are glass material, so that light from outside can come into the scene. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that and then say and cancel it out. So for this material override, I'm just going to open this and create a material I want to override every other material with. All right, so this is it. I'll raise the reflection to 1, and then this I'll put as 0.6, and then I'll just drag this into this place that is, that will have none, and then I'll make it an instance. So I can easily come here, make changes, and it's going to affect the material I'm using to override the scene. So now I want to do interactive render to see what we're working with and then know where to go from there. All right, so I need to come in here, lock this viewport so that it renders only whatever is on this viewport. Okay, even if I'm working on this scene and doing things going up and down, it is not going to affect what we are seeing here. All right, so there are some settings I need to turn off. I want to turn this off and make it none. So yeah, there you have that. So I'm going to remove this Asus OT. Let me make this big so that you see what I'm doing. I'm going to remove that. Okay, I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to add rear end hard. Leave it as 1 for now. Doesn't really matter. And so we'll add the sun and we'll see what we're dealing with here. So the exposure and everything is looking okay except for here, but if I should come over here and add 55, that is going to take care of that light that is overexposed over there. Okay, and when I do that, I have to come over here and add 3 in the contrast to, because when you do this, it eats up your contrast. So you need to get it back by coming over to contrast and adding 3 or 4. Now, as we go on, we are going to know whether to increase that contrast or to keep it at 3. But for now, I'm going to leave it like that. So this camera is looking okay. It's looking good. It can be however you want it to be. You can decide that, okay, you want to make this camera lower. Let me just keep this to one side. Remove this. Okay. Keep it one side. You can decide you want to make this camera lower. So I'll select the camera and then make it like 1000. Okay. As you can see, it has lowered the camera a little bit. All right, still not bad, still good, but I want it to be as high as it was then. Okay, so I can even make it 1.2 if I want. All right, 1.2 gives it the human eye level height. All right, that you just walked into this space and this is what you're seeing. But let me just reduce a little bit to 1.1, as that is what I want. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this in on this side so we can walk. All right. So that's the light. I'm not going to increase anything for now or touch the exposure, but what I want to do now is go ahead and add the sun. What adding the sun does for you is it gets rid of this when you look at this scene now, it is giving this bluish tint. Okay, the easiest way to get rid of that bluish tint is by adding the sun. All right, so and I'll show you how that works. So I will just click on this light icon here. All right, select Corona and then Corona Sun. Okay, so I'm just going to just add it like this and then raise it up. Okay, you see, immediately I did that. As you can see, it is no longer bluish. Now it is warm. Okay, it is warm right now. So this is what I mean by getting rid of the bluish tint. It's like doing white balancing by just placing the sun in the scene. All right, so yeah, we have this now in place. I kind of like the way the sun came in. I like the way it is looking and all that, so I'm just going to leave it like that for now. If in future we do not like that, we're going to make some adjustments about that. So now that I've added the sun, I want to go ahead and add a portal light. When I say a portal light, I mean a light that is going to throw in more light into the scene to mimic that daylight. I always do this. I started doing it long ago when I started rendering. Now I see a lot of people working without having to add this. They just work with their exposure, increase everything. But I still find this one helpful and I want to show it to you. So I click on Corona. Make sure it is in rectangle. Okay, that's the shape, rectangle. And then I'm going to, let me just stop this thing for a while. Okay, stop this interactive rendering for a while. Then I'm going to draw a light source that is as big as this window. I'm going to bring it back. Okay, now let's start interactive render right back and see what we're going to have. Now this light is occluding all other light, which is why it is making the scene white and not like that realistic warmness that we just saw. So I'm going to make changes to this light. With the light selected, I'm going to go to the modify tab. I'm going to go down here to the visibility. I will turn off everything, okay, except for the reflection. I want this light to be reflecting on the reflective surfaces that I'm going to add here when the time comes. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that for now. But then it is looking as if it is very, very, let me just start by making it 10, and when I do that, I'm going to take a look at the impact it has to the scene. Okay, I've made it 10. That's what I'm getting. Go ahead and make it 50 right back. Now, when you do this, you find out that the daylight has already flooded the scene, saturating everything. So I'm just going to, make it 30. 30 doesn't seem bad at all. That is looking good. 25 now. Yeah, so this brings in that kind of balancing. But if you want to make it a little bit warm, just put it in Kelvin temperature and then make it 5.5. That will, make it a little bit warm, but not so warm. Let me just make it 5.8 because, yes, not so warm because you don't want it to be you don't want it to be yellowish. If you want to add any filter to it, you can just add the LUT. Okay, and you can see the color it came with, but this is too much. I'll just make it like 0.4. 0.4 tones it down, or 0.3 even tones it down. And then something else that we can add here is the filmic mapping. Okay, the rich shadows. Just increase it a little bit. All right. So when I turn it off and turn it on, you're gonna see what we are having. The black, you can see the shadow here. The impact is having on it is making the shadows rich. Okay, now it is time for us to, you can see the light is done. It is time for us to set up the artificial lightings. Okay, I know there are already artificial lighting in this scene, but this one, it came with the furniture, so it doesn't really count. All right. And I want it to be a little bit warm. So let's start by editing that one first. So I'll open this group, select that light. It is 4.5. I'm going to make it 3.6. Okay. You can even go as low as 2.5 if that is what you want. That's going to make things way warm, as you can see right now. Okay, it is very warm, so I'm going to put it somewhere in between. I'm going to make this like 2.8. Okay, but this is supposed to be a task light. It is not supposed to be that one. Otherwise, it's not going to be, much helpful when it comes to visibility and stuff. So I'm just going to make it 3.6. Okay, 3.6 is not bad. It is good that way. So I like to turn on my bloom and glare so I can adjust it while I work. Okay, it is not on currently. Bloom and glare is let me just turn it on so you see what it does. You see what it did to this, the light coming from this window. It blew it up. It made it more pronounced, gave it that bloom. So that might be too much. Okay, that might be way too much. So I'll just reduce it a little bit and take a look at what we're having. Just be looking at it. Okay, it is going to reduce it. So for this one, I'm going to make it 0.7. I always make it 0.7. In my experience, that is that is good. That is what you need to be making it. So 0.7, usually it is 0.7. So I don't want to waste your time trying to slide things up and down. Just put everything in 0.7 and it's going to look realistic and nice. Okay, I need to add light over here and over here, just behind this seat and then over here. So to do that, I will just grab a rectangle light. Okay, the colors are already set. So I'm just going to come over here. Let me stop this for now and minimize it so that I can put Alt W to focus on this big scene. Then I will draw it like so. Now I'm going to move it up. Rotate it a little bit. Good. Okay, so yeah. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, the light is not looking bad, but I need this one to be very warm because unlike this one, this is going to be a cove light and I want it to be warm and dramatic, So with it still being selected, I'll come over here and make it like 2.5. Okay. Yeah. So I am going to take this as a copy and then rotate it. Move it into place. Just like that. Now I'm going to reduce the length of the light. Yeah, I think it's okay. Now that's the light. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to put the artificial spotlights that are going to be on the ceiling. And to do that, I have the spotlight here. You can head over to 3D Sky and download any spotlight you want, or you can create your own. It's really not difficult to create these things. Okay, just put a cylinder there, modify it a little bit and put light inside. Okay, so let me just bring it closer to this place so I can see it. All right, so let me just go ahead and place it all over the scene where I want them to be. All right, so I'm done placing these lights above. Okay, so you can actually, let me get rid of these ones and just use to place them so that it will, towards the end of this. Like that. Good. Now, let me make this big. As you can see, the light is well balanced and it's looking appropriate. Now I'm going to go, and then it's time for us to work on our material actually. So I'm going to go over to the material override and I'm going to turn it off so that we'll see, what we need to do, where we need to adjust and stuff like that. So I will open the render setup. In the scenes tab, I'm going to turn this material override off. When I do that, we're going to see the colors come out. All right. Now with this, you find out that the artificial lights we added here, they are there, but their impact is not being felt. Okay, their impact is not being felt. So I'm going to stop this. The lights on top of here is still not shining properly the way it should be shining. So I'm just going to make sure that that is a corona material. So I will convert all the lights in this scene and material of the selected object. Okay, let me take a look at it again and see what we are up against. Now that's better. Okay, that's better. All right. So I just realized that the stuff on top of here that is supposed to be above it, like the decorative element that should be on top of this dining area, is not there. So I'm just going to get it and put it on top of that place. Okay. Relink the bitmaps for that. And then when I do interactive render, you're going to see what we're having now. So now we need to increase the brightness of this scene a little bit. Okay, and also one more thing we need to do is to make sure that this light, the effect is being felt in this scene. So I am going to do that by adding an additional light to it. Okay, so corona light. The reason why I didn't do it before is because I need to be seeing the effect, that's what it's doing when I'm adding them to the scene. So I'll just take this thing and raise it up. Okay, keep this to one side. Okay, and then I'm going to, let me just keep it here. I'm going to add directionality, okay, which is already there, 0.3. I'm going to make it 0.5 so that it will be touching the ground. I will increase the intensity to 50. Okay. Going to remove the visibility. I'm going to drag it to this side and make it an instance. You need to see. You can see how bright it is on that floor. That is too much. That is extreme. So I'm going to use that side to make the adjustments I need. So I'm going to make this 30. I'm going to make it 20. All right, so for now that's okay. And I'm going to select both of them and I'm going to copy them to this side and as instance. All right, so alongside that and your exposure, that is going to bring in the light balancing that you need. you see what I'm doing as I'm walking, I'm also coming back to adjust the camera, okay, so that I can get what I really want to get. All right, so that is just the way it is. Like, this camera is already looking good, but there's something I have in mind that I'm trying to like achieve. So I want to get, you know, a view of the kitchen, the living room, and also the dining. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to achieve with this camera. All right, so till I achieve that to the extent where I think it's really cool, I'll keep trying. All right, so yeah, I think this is it. You can see the kitchen over here. You can see the dining and then living room. You can see it over there. So then the next thing I want us to do, because I want to adjust this curtain, it is looking very bright. I want it to be a little bit dark. Okay, so I'm just going to show, because like I told you before, you don't really need to start creating everything from the scratch. I'll show you how to adjust the color of this curtain to make it darker. So I'll just use this color picker tool and pick it. In fact, let me select it. Select all this and delete it. Get material from selected. Now this is the curtains material. So with the help of color correction, I can always tone it down. Okay, just set it to advanced and then take it down to like 0.5. It is going to, you know, make it, as you can see. Now I'm going to desaturate it a little bit because it's beginning to look very, very saturated over there. All right, so the same thing I'm going to do over to this side. I'm just going to drag this, put it over here, select it, desaturate it a bit first. Okay, make this one 0.5. That way the curtain becomes a little bit dark. 0.2. I want it very, very dark. Good. Now 0.2 is an overkill, as you can see. I'm going to make it 0.4. So that we can keep that discrepancy between the both of them. All right. So for the materials for this, for the ceiling and the walls, I'm just going to use the default Corona material. Okay, I'm just going to select walls and I'm going to apply this white material to it, but I want it to be off-white, not white. So I'm going to bring in this satin in here. Now I'm going to apply it in there. Now when I do that, you realize that everything became very, very white. I do not want that. So I'm just going to select it and then reduce the whiteness a little bit, tone it down, and then say okay. And we are cool. All right, so I'm going to close this for now so that I can take a look at what we have done. So the next thing I want us to do is to create the materials for this floor. Okay, create the material for that floor. So we already have a floor generator which we modeled on that floor. So I'm just going to show you how to create materials that will suit it appropriately. So I'm going to stop this and then minimize this for now. I'm going to bring out the material editor. So first things first, I am going to bring out legacy material, increase this to 1 and everything to 1. So the next thing I need to bring out is the Corona multi-map. So I'll just type multi in here. So I'll see, okay, look at it here, Corona multi-map. All right, so I am going to batch load textures. So I'm going to select all this. I'm going to say open. Okay, now let's do some setup for this. So I will double click on it so it brings me here. I will uncheck it from instance and I'm going to make it face material ID. All right, so the item is 12. As you can see, it is already 12. We're not going to set anything about that one. The mix count, I'm going to like make it like double of that. That's let's make it 25. Then the blur multiplier is already 1.0. We're going to leave it like that. Okay. Every other thing here, we're going to be using them to work as we go on in this scene. So the next thing I'm going to do is bring in color correction and place it here. All right. I'm going to pass it in here and then to this one. Okay, and then the next thing is to make duplicates of these so I can apply them to the reflection and the reflective gloss. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to select this and make it a monochrome so it's black and white. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit lighter. Yeah, I'm going to make it a bit lighter so that it gives me the vibe of a reflective color. Okay, a reflection map. But then I'm going to desaturate it just a little bit. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so for this one, the same thing I'm going to turn it to, because that is what I want to use for, for what is it called again, for the reflective gloss. So I'm going to make it very bright, 1.9 or thereabouts. Okay, and I'm going to apply it inside here in the reflective gloss. Okay, that's about it. I'm not even going to touch any other thing here again. So let's go ahead and apply this to the floor generator. So I'm just going to start by doing interactive rendering and seeing what is going on in this scene right now. Okay. Thank God it is sitting right, where they're supposed to sit. So now the thing I want to do next is I want to actually make an adjustment to this to, make things different a little bit, because right now the boards are all looking the same. But if I should come to this gamma random and add something there, let's say like 0.5, that is going to switch things up. Okay, that is going to switch things up. But then I want to make it like 0.8. All right, now the color of this floor is not exactly what I want it to be. Now I'm going to make some adjustments to it to get what I'm looking for. First of all, I'm going to desaturate it very well. Okay, then the second thing I'm going to do is hue shift. I'm going to shift it forward a little bit. And then for the gamma, I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to make it darker even more. All right, so that might be too low. Okay. Yeah. Reflection, I'm going to make it like 50, so we can have a bit of a reflection on this floor to make things look a little bit nice. This one too, I'm going to make it like 75. For the bump, we're going to add the bump now. Okay, as you can see, the reflection is beginning to show up. Okay, yeah. So with this now, you find out that the scene has gotten a bit darker. So here we're going to increase the brightness a little bit more and then go over to the light, the additional lights that we added for the light source, and increase it a little bit. I'm going to make it 30. See the impact that it's going to have. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this to like 0.4. All right. So 50, let's see. All right, so I'm going to increase it some more. Now the light from outside is now becoming too much, which means I have to reduce it a little bit. Okay, it's 25 now. I'm going to make it 15. All right. So this light right here, I'm going to adjust the, okay, I'm going to adjust it to 3.6. Then desaturate this scene. Oh, that's what has been wrong. The scene has been oversaturated. So I'm going to just desaturate it a little bit to get it to look like, yeah. So now let me see. Going to reduce this. All right, so now that we made it 100, as you can see, it is now very bright, even so bright that it is lighting the scene the way you would want it to. Okay, so yeah, that's basically. So now I need to hold on a minute. Now I'm just going to get rid of those lights. They are not needed there. They're actually messing things up for me on that side. So I'm just going to get rid of them. Okay, you see the level of light that is coming in from this window. Okay, this is like the middle, like around 12 noon in the afternoon. So as you can see, we're almost done here. So the next thing I want us to do is go outside and create an environment that we're going to be seeing, because we're seeing outside a little bit. So we need to create an environment that we're going to see each time we look out of the window. So I'm just going to make this, okay, sharpen this image a little bit. Oh no, a little bit. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to create a plane. Let me just close. Oh, we're not even done creating this. We need to add bumps to it. So to add bump, I'm just going to get another material like this and then batch load the bumps, as you can see here. Yeah. Now I'm going to pass this thing through Corona normal, add gamma to inputs, and then add it to the bump. I don't want it to be that rough, so I'm going to come down here and reduce this bump, you know, make it 0.2. That is going to give us what we want. All right, so let's go ahead and create the stuff. In fact, let me select this curtain and delete them. I don't know what it is doing there. So I'll just create a plane like this. Has a lot of segments. Move it like that into position. Increase the width and the height a little bit. So I'm just going to bring in the maps. That is I just went to Google and I downloaded this map. I'm going to, the link to all these things will be in the description where you can find it. So you can just go to Google, search, you know, sky and city skyline or whatever it is. You're going to get something like this. Okay, it's an environment that we're going to be using, so that when you look out the window, you're going to see something like this. So I'm just going to bring in Corona light material. Okay, you're going to see it here. And I'm going to apply it to the color. Increase this thing to like 30 or thereabouts. Let's say 10. Okay, because I need it to be seeing that stuff. So I'll apply it to this. Put it in default shading. Okay, as you can see, we are seeing the environment outside. So let's go ahead and do interactive render and see what we're going to see in this view. So now when you look out the window, you're going to be seeing an environment right there. All right. Yeah. So, I think it is okay. I think it is mapped correctly. Now you can select this and apply UVW map to it. Okay. When you do that, you can now, adjust things the way you want. When you select this gizmo in here, you can move things around anyhow you want it to be. Okay, where it was before is not bad, so I'm just going to leave it there. Yeah. So now we can go ahead and increase the brightness of this. We can make it like say 20 or 30. Okay, to match the brightness of the stuff that's coming in from that window. All right, so we are almost done with this video. We are done with the light, we're done with the materials, we're done with them. I don't think there's anything else. So we're just going to head over to the render setup and do render settings. Okay, for this, I'm going to add 3000 in here. Then in the scene, I'm going to just put this in Corona high quality. Turn off this. Okay, doesn't really matter, just turn it off. All right. So I'm just going to bring out this right back and do final tone mapping before we head over to render. Oh my God. Yeah, I think that is not bad. I'm going to reduce this, reduce it and reduce it some more. Okay, so we can actually say add vignette around this. That's too much. I'm going to reduce it and reduce it and reduce it. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and render this. Just click render. See you when this render is done, so we can come here and save out this file together. All right, thank you. Now the render is done. Okay, I'm going to just click on this. That will kickstart the denoiser, and that will start denoising the scene. So we're going to wait for it to just finish denoising so we can proceed. All right, so now the denoising is done. Okay, and this is what we are having. All right, so I will just go ahead and save this file out. Okay, so we can call it a day. So click on that icon right there, and then I'm going to call this living room, kitchen and dining 2. So I'm going to save it as PNG, override gamma 2.2, and then I'm going to say save, and then okay. All right. So that's it. That marks the end of this tutorial. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Not only subscribing, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future tutorials. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to see you in the next one.